Chet Holmgren and Wembanyama have become Defensive Player of the Year caliber defenders in just their rookie seasons, but many people want to know who is the better defender between the two. First, let's look at their advanced defensive numbers. Opponents are shooting just 45.4% versus Chet Holmgren and 52% from within 6 feet from the basket. For Wembanyama, opponents are shooting just 46.1% and 54.9% from within 6 feet. So while these numbers are very similar, the edge goes to Chet Holmgren. And again, I can't stress how close, these numbers are. So from comparing these numbers alone, one doesn't have a sizable gap over the other. Now here are their team's defensive numbers with and without them on the court. The OKC Thunder are the 5th ranked defense and improved to the 2nd ranked defense when Chet is on the floor. And the Spurs are the 24th ranked defense and improves to 6th when Wemby is on the floor. It's also important to note that Holmgren has a much better defensive roster. He has Lou Dort, SGA, J-Dub, and Cason Wallace. So when you factor that in, it's again clear that they are pretty much the same when it comes to impact. Now let's break down some in-game footage. As you've seen by his numbers, Chet does not let you take any easy shots around him. In fact, he's actually 2nd in the NBA in contested shots per game, which is another area he beats Victor out from a numbers standpoint. Take this for example. He swats a shot in transition from behind, then he makes a second effort and goes up vertical and makes another stop. There are many centers in the NBA who would have just simply gave up that easy second layup. Here, that massive wingspan shows and he's able to meet the ball up top to get the block. Now here we see that no easy shots mentality. Not too many centers are chasing down guards in transition, and I want y'all to notice the score. It is 15 seconds left, and OKC has an 8-point lead, and yet he still hustled this hard to get it stopped. This possession should show you everything you need to know about his defense. His ability to guard smaller players in pick and roll or ISO situations have really stood out to me, and this is why he's 2nd in contested shots per game, because he really tries to alter your shot. A lot of centers in this situation would do something I call a half contest. A half contest is when you just put your hand up without leaving the floor. But Chet is so athletic and bouncy that he's able to spring off the floor and force shooters to shoot the ball higher than usual. Just watch how much separation the ball handler has to try to create just to get an open shot. Not only could he not shift Holmgren off balance, but he couldn't get off a quality shot. Now let's focus on Wemby. He's truly one of the best rookie shot blockers you will ever see. His instincts, length, and mobility is a combination we have rarely seen. We all know how incredible of a rookie defender Evan Mobley was. Wemby is basically a 7-foot version of him, which is pretty insane. Before they were drafted, Chet and Wembanyama's weight and thin frame raised questions, but it's clear it benefits them more than it hurts them in today's era. Remember when we saw Chet chase down a smaller player in transition? Well, Wemby can do the same thing. They are both phenomenal transition defenders from behind and in the paint when stopping a break. If you want to know how good of a rim protector he is, watch this. Watch how chaotic the offense gets once he's in the paint. Kuzma had no chance of getting the shot off, and as soon as Gafford touched the ball, Victor was walled up over him in a split second. It's also important to note that Jeremy Sohan did a great job at helping when Kuzma did the pivot. But even if Sohan wasn't there, Wemby was still going to block the shot. That's the benefits of having a 100-foot wingspan. He could defend in the drop coverage as well. Just as good as Chet Holmgren actually. Watch how easy he's able to flip his hips and go right into the block. I don't think many people understand how much mobility it takes to be able to do this. It's the same ability Chet has. They move extremely smooth and can transition from sliding to stopping to flipping their hips and then going up top for a block. A lot of the blocks come from just that. Victor's leading the NBA in stocks per game, which are blocks and steals combined. He's leading all centers in steals per game with 1.3. Most of his steals and deflections come from players trying to throw a pass over or around him. He sort of reminds me of Nikola Jokic in that sense, and Jokic is actually 2nd behind Wemby in steals per game among all centers. They just have an elite sixth sense of when a pass is coming, and they have the hand-eye coordination to get a hand on the ball and to secure it. While I give Chet the slight edge when it comes to defending on the perimeter, that doesn't mean Wemby is bad at it. He has shown flashes of being an effective perimeter defender against bigger forwards and mobile centers. He can be a little jumpy and undisciplined at times, but he still holds his own more times than not. If you have watched my channel, you know I'm a huge fan of defending without fouling, and that's exactly what Wemby has been doing. He's averaging just 2.2 fouls per game in just 28 minutes, while Holmgren averages 2.5 in 30 minutes. So both of them are elite in this category. Centers like Jaren Jackson Jr., Jalen Duren, Miles Turner, Daniel Gafford, and Yusuf Nurkic are all averaging over 3 fouls per game in similar minutes. So that should let you know both Chet and Wemby are some of the most disciplined rim protectors in the NBA. If you want to go into more advanced stats, let's look at the left graph first. This graph shows rim deterrence and rim defensive field goal percentage versus expected percentage. And if you read the graph, you can see that Wemby has the slight edge over him in both categories. But then if you look at the graph on the right, it shows rim contests per 75 possessions and who saves the most points at the rim. Chet Holmgren has a sizable lead. So basically, these two graphs show me that they are literally neck and neck, and it's hard to really find who has been the most valuable and impactful defender. So that now leads me to my decision. Who is the better defender? Well, my answer is Chet Holmgren. And listen, it's not by a wide margin at all. Wemby has drastically improved his defense from the beginning of the season to now, but I can't help the fact that Chet reminds me so much of a veteran player on defense even though he's a rookie. From an eye test standpoint, there are moments where you can tell that Victor is a rookie, but with Chet it's way harder to tell. And neither of them are perfect, but they are some of the best rookie rim protectors you'll ever see. And again, this was close, and I wouldn't be mad if you picked Victor, because he's also been a better defensive rebounder. But not only statistically has Chet been slightly better, but my eye test agrees. But let me know what y'all think, and let me know what other defensive videos y'all want next. See y'all in the next one.